Hello. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're still in the middle of the trial of Mr. Natsume. And I don't know, it feels like it's not going great. We're gonna have to do something about that. So let's get into it. I have considered the Defense Counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the ground on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Oh dear. The scale is not balanced. The jurors' contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. Oh, if there was some other alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Oh, even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime. If the window was closed, can it? Oh, dearie me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Oh, look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Oh, it gave me the sneezes. Wait, what? What's he talking about? He has considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover... How many glasses does he have? No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. Oh, that means, I'm afraid, that during this summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was concluded. Oh, and I was thinking this might be hard. Oh, but Naruto-san, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends. No pressure then. That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel? Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Shinsuke. Focus your mind now. Shinsuke. Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Mrs. Gardeb? Oh, we have a book that disappeared from the character's house on the evening of the incident. And the fourth book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far. Whatever it takes. Oh, don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garrett and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. Ooh, alright then, no pressure. The defense is rebuttal. The accused are behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. Hold it! But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Sorry, what? Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fair scrap with his wife or something, you said? Oh, that's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. Oh, I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver is about. It's all done deal, isn't it? It's a done deal, isn't it? Oh, I suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say. Alright then. Oh, if there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider her. Hold it! So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face, but I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan and rational woman. What do we think of her? I don't know. That's great. Oh, if one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? Wait, what? You see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking. What'd you say? Not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic. What'd you say? Overwhelmingly, yeah? Overwhelmingly. Oh, but us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know? So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could. Oh, let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady. Right. I'm glad you omitted Russian here. Oh, even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Hold it! But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? Oh, the prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, you see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? Oh, it just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then what's the point in even having windows, eh? Counsel, can you refrain from childish bickering? Sorry. Somehow, I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because the young man isn't going to budge otherwise. Oh dear me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. A direct hit?
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. Oh, there's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Well, he brought it upon himself. He's playing with fire to betray a fairy love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes? But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Gardo. Oh, never mind that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute. Nothing more. And I won't have any more of the suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Okay, right. Well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning her hair as Mrs. Garrett relentless onslaughts. Oh, it's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle sound it is. Oh look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Hold it!
You want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day labourer. Aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating fish down into things tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. My missus didn't want to mess about. You know, she'll be fierce, believe you me. Oh, another shining example of marital bliss then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. 'Twas well, you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Oh, that's helpful. Oh, I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged into the things by his scarf. Oh, don't even go there, Soto-san. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Come to think of it, we had a fair at home a while ago. Oh, he gave me the sneezes.
Hold it!
Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defender's capability in this case? Oh, sorry, what's that? You have to speak up, lad. Could you tell us more about that fire? Oh, it was last winter. My grandchildren made me a lovely cake on my birthday. I had 75 candles on the top. It did. What a sight to behold it was. You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Oh, of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously. Oh, it seems that's a common custom here, in Great Britain. Naruhodo-san. Oh, anyway, I must turn on my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. All the furniture got and everything went up. The whole place filled up with smoke. No, definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold? But how did you catch a cold from the fire? Oh, what a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it. The windows? Oh. Oh, the biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave. It did. Oh, I caught a terrible cold from it. It put me in hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry. Oh, I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. Oh, we need to demonstrate who, apart from Natsume-san, could have attacked the young woman on the street, as well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. Oh, I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradiction between their assertions. Just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike. Oh, that's the spirit. Okay, I'm gonna save because I don't want to start over all from the beginning. If I ever, make a mistake. The accused, left evidence at the scene, okay. There was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed. Okay. When the woman was throwing books, can be related to this crime. The window was closed, can it? Okay, I'll pit that against this guy's story. Winter houses are fire are dire. You have to open windows to clear the smoke. That's when the chill gets out, you see.
Objection!
These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. Oh no, they don't. Oh, they don't. There was some novel alternative how the victim was stabbed. I might consider. Are those linked? Little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. I don't bring home some pay tonight. Wait. What about the first one? Accused of behind evidence is seen underneath those 3 books of his. There was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed. I might reconsider. A little book. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. The house is fire. With the house fires are dire. You have to open your windows to clear the smoke. That's when the chills get out, you see. I don't know. Related. Those two are related, right? They're both talking about throwing the book. Okay, I'll just try that. I'm not sure.
Objection!
Oh no, it's not right.
Hold
want to... Okay, we're just saying the same thing over and over. Okay, change our idea with a laborer. Okay. Winter house fires are dire. You have to open windows to clear the smoke. That's when the chill gets out, you see? Oh, that's when the chill gets you, see? I was gonna say, that's weird. The chill doesn't get out, it gets in. Only a little book. Books can be related. That's another how to become a star you need to consider. Those 3 book service. I don't see it.
Hold it!
Oh yes, it was one of my most memorable birthdays. You see, I couldn't let it go unremembered. Oh, I'm sure the defendant will be delighted that you're using this trial to explore your past. And how is that memory related to this case exactly? Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up, I'm afraid. Never mind. He's as deaf as a post when he wants to be. But actually, this old man's anecdote might just provide the alternative explanation I need to make this my point to some of the other jurors. Oh, okay. Oh, we use endlit candles on my birthday this year. It's safer that way. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, we need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman in the street, as well as how she, could have done it. Oh, yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudices. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. Oh, I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Oh, yes. I say I need to find a contradiction between their assertions. Just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I see what I can do. That's the spirit. Okay, so I'm gonna pit that against this.
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
Hold it!
Oh, I'm sorry, but that's wrong. I have to object. That's complete nonsense. What? Banker, don't forget. Educated man. Oh, it's not. It's not that. Oh, I need to speak to her again. Because it's going to change the dialogue then.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face, but I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotions. But it's the same. It's the same. Even if the woman was throwing books can be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? No, it's what he said before. Wait, didn't I already pit those 2 against each other? I think I did. Didn't I? If I didn't, then it would be weird. These 2 jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. They do? How exactly, counsel? Oh, don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. What's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up. Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6 account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Oh, well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh, my lord. Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrideb household. And Mr. Garrideb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh, my hat! What's with you, Mrs. Garrideb?
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garrideb. Oh, dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? Who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something in front of the court, something from the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as it did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? All right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Oh, even though your house was on fire? Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. Oh, that's a significant step forward. Naruhodo-san, you've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garrideb's former statement. Oh, now you mention it, yes. The window was open at the time. I clearly forgotten, but it's true. It could have been open when the woman was throwing books. I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
Hold it!
At the point when the victim was attacked on Brea Road, we know there was a small house fire in the Garrideb household on the opposite side of the street. Well, yeah, it certainly seems that way. And on account of the smoke, I imagine they would have had the windows wide open in spite of the cold. We also know that Mrs. Garrideb was throwing flaming books at her husband. Her husband was backed into a corner by the window due to his wife's frenzied attack. Oh yes, that's right. So there's definitely a chance that one of the books could have flown past the man and out the window. Only what? Only I can't really see how it could have gone all the way over to the other side of the road. That's all. So I don't really see how I can change my decision, really? Oh, I see. Well, that was enough. What is it going to take to persuade these people? Now you mentioned, well, I can forgotten, but it's true. The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Gaida told us he has been reading. Oh, well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. Huh? It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on. As well, you know. I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Wait, what? What's up with this guy?
Excuse me.
What is it, Gerard number 5?
Oh, you know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out.
Wait, what? Ah,
Oh, it was listening to what this granny was saying, brought it all floating back.
Granny? Who are you calling Granny, you chicken devil? I'm Mrs. Gary Devil the maid. I'll have you know. I'll have you know. Oh, the man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time.
Oh, it was about 2 weeks ago now. As I got back home after work, like... I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned today, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
Oh, you haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh,
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear, stuck into the wall next to me. It did, about an inch deep. Oh, no worse, just terror. Oh, I could smell it then, you know, that god awful stench of the Thames. Was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. No, that's a real disaster, isn't it?
wait. I never used the word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When a woman knows the rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knife, hatchets, hammer, you name it.
No, Hasan. You mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Oh, throwing household objects at people is so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. Wait, what? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Oh, never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think.
Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. A woman in a rage would hurl him out of almost anything at you. The kitchen knife already brought that home to me.
Okay, let's save because, you know how it is. Okay, I'll beat that against that woman.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection.
Oh, good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, Counsel, at once.
Juror number 2, you do think perhaps that this could be one such no alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as how to the victim was stabbed in the back. As to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
Oh, what are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Gaidev's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object beside the book could have found its way from the Gaidev household to the street below.
Oh, well, what's that now?
After all, Mrs. Gaidev could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now? You little beanpole? I'm beginning to think that, ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened.
Now you listen to me, to hear, and now you listen here, you listen, Gala.
Gala?
As a foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that, at the very least, this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Gaidev household to the scene of the crime was the knife. That's the only possibility.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Gaidev. What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Oh! Oh, good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? Well, that's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man.
Man? He's forgetting himself. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Gaidev were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Gaidev was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
Oh, you can't seriously believe that the book was found in the victim's grasp. You can't seriously believe that the book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Even my missus hasn't got a name like that.
Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Oh. Mrs. Gaidev, your answer please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh. 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 I'll take that as a yes. My lord, I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now, with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman? I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind. Oh yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. They just don't care about anything, those guys. All together now, ladies and gents. Hey, the old man, he didn't do it. He didn't change his opinion. Oh, we did it. Oh, congratulations, Naruhodo-san. So, as a result of the defense summation examination, a number of jurors' leaning has changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue. Oh, god damn it. That's good. Ooh. Now then, Lord Van Dijk, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, is good for nothing save the gutter. Oh, if I may, Lord Van Dijk, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? Oh, hey, Mrs. How are you doing tonight? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. I'm alright, thank you. How are you? Well, I feel a bit sick. Not much, but a bit. So I'm staying home for the weekend. Well, not that I would have gone out a lot, but even less so. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Gaidab household ran the rather wide street, Briar Road. It is wide. Which means that the distance from the Gaidab's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards. Oh, let me see. 15 yards, that's around 14 meters. 15 yards is 14 meters? Wow, I have no idea how much a yard is. Well, okay, I know feet. Kinda know miles, but not yards. So a yard is a bit less than a meter. Like, about oh, okay. 14, 15. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagined. And as you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches.
In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly held by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. Punched by words. Oh, there's nothing I can say to that. Oh, that prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Oh, is it the sign? Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Maybe let's pick battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its meaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, Juror number 4, Miss Joan Garadeb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Well, I would say that if she has to be a witness, she can't be a juror anymore. But, well, that's just my opinion.
Sense alive! A cross-examination of a juror? That's never happened before. Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand, as I previously said.
Objection!
And unnecessary.
Lord Van Zeeks?
There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both the burning book and the jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly.
What say you, witnesses?
Oh, this poor fellow. Oh, yes, sir. Constable Ronnie Beach reporting for duty, sir. What? Well. Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing at you now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they're so heroic, these London puppies. So, Mrs., are they that heroic, those guys? So they're saying that the policemen, they have to do all kind of things, like light up the street lights, or clean up the streets, or do all sorts of things. They have to do that? I'm pretty sure they don't do that now.
Oh, Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Raleigh, my hero, you make me swoon.
Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request. What? No!
Oh,
An order to witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events.
they don't have to do any of that.
Oh yeah, but we're talking about like, how could that be, like 200 years ago?
Oh, yes, sir.
Constable Beats report.
Oh, this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Godeb, believe me. A London Bobby is good for his word. Yes, see, sir. The windows on the top floor of the Godeb house are top-hinged casements.
Top-hinged casements? What does that mean?
Oh, obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. Oh, I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rowley was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Oh, I didn't take my eyes off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing's changed to report on that front, sir.
Oh, well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows. Why is he so surprised? What's a top-hinged casement window? I'm kind of curious now. I have to check. Let me check that real quick. Top-hinged casement windows. What's that? Oh, okay. All right. All right. Did they make that back then? Kind of surprised. Oh yeah, top hinged. But casement. I don't know what casement would mean. All right. Did they make this kind of window back then? I'm wondering. That detail was not in the police report, Constable.
Oh, yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little trolly.
You cannot excuse the sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
No, sir.
Sorry, but what exactly is a top-hinged casement window? Oh, yeah. Thanks. And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. What an asshole, this guy. Of course, sorry.
Oh, I found it, Naruto-san. Cast your mind back to the window in Mr. and Mrs. Gatep's room.
Alright, I'll try. Let me visualize it. Here it is. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Oh, yeah. But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see? Oh. I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It
prevents its opening? It prevents it opening? This is all news to me.
Oh, absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below.
Oh no! You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already. Oh, that can't be.
Oh, did you see that, Raleigh? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh, yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. Oh, Raleigh, you're so strong.
How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed. Counselor, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. Oh, my lord. Oh, God, another desperate situation. All right, let's do it. Constable Beats report. We're gonna save, just to be sure. Because, you know how it is. Okay, this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garner. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word.
Hold it!
How can you say that for certain?
A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principle of the force written on it as a reminder to all of us policemen of our sworn duty.
Duty?
Oh, he showed us that before, didn't he?
Did he? I can't say I remember.
Oh, to patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man is what the job's all about. And that is why I can't stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you Bobby is good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes, admittedly, sir. Oh, Rowley, you're so manly. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, but... Oh, Rowley.
No, this is what I meant. How can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Gaideb?
Ah, I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir.
Yes, well, so could you answer the question? Oh, that was a waste of time then.
Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to the fullest of my abilities, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Gaideb's domestic dispute can be related to this case.
Okay.
But before I get into that, sir, just one thing.
Wait, what? Yes?
I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard.
What?
So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles.
What? I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here.
So to that answer, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll try. Constable B's warrant card has been entered into the court record. A small folding wallet that identifies London bobbies and contains the rules of conduct to which they must adhere. Okay. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Gardener's house are top-hinged casements. Wait, we have to look at the new object. Let's examine that. Item 1. Principles of policing. Item 1. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Wow! Is expected to walk 20 miles a day. Metropolitan Police Regulations. Item 1. Any crimes that fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Item 2. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Okay. By which you mean they don't open fully. Don't open fully. Don't open fully. Is that correct? Oh yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see. So they're restricted as to how much they open. Well, they don't stay in place, but they can open wider. And therefore anything thrown out of the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark them up. Here is the location where objects would have fallen.
Yes. Directly opposite the scene of the crime, on the other side of the rather wide road.
Oh, would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casements thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of window Mr. and Mrs. Gardener's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. Is he their son? You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. What?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beach? Oh, sorry. You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering. That's all. We really were so lucky. What? Lucky? What do you mean? Oh well, of course. I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we're just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh yes, that street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat. Oh yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garrido household yesterday. The house on my beat, you see, sir? That really was cutting it close then. Now, Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Gaitev's household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Gaitev's house? Oh yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. Oh, I see. I wasn't aware of that. Oh, just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. Oh. Did she move the body? But that's the life of a Bobby after all.
Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners.
Oh, do you know what I think? Oh, I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Oh, don't you think so, my darling? Oh, that must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. Oh, I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. Oh, leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo-san. I'll take care of it immediately. The case filing's information has been updated in the court record. Wait, what? So how has it been updated? The pavement where the victim was found lies just outside Constable Speed's beat, the border of which runs down the middle of Briar Road. Oh, and now it's my turn, I think. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it.
Hold it!
But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Sorry? The star that will guide us to eternal happiness.
Could it guide you to answer the question?
Oh, if a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, oh, it would have lit up like a shooting star. Oh, and if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Oh, let Rolly be an inspector, I would have said, 3 times at least. Oh, of course, that with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars.
In short, I'm trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you.
Oh, yes, sir. That is correct, sir. As sure as a nice guy in London is stars, sir.
But wait. If they can't see the stars, how can they be sure that they could see anything else? It certainly seems like they're telling the truth.
And then we saw the poor woman fall on the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Hold it!
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right? Oh, that's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beach, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Oh, don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of everybody's box and every beach. Oh, so Rolly told me the way, only I sort of forgot a little lost the way. Oh, Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. What? Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly.
Oh, please.
So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. Oh, I was off duty at the time, of course, but as a true Bobby, a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment. No, sir, nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Hold it!
Nothing to report. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. Really? Aren't you always sleepy? Oh, no one else. Oh, I didn't. Wait. I forgot. Mrs. 9. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. I beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of The Lion's Pride was originally in the Gaidev's household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand for the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her bag and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Can I ask something, please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? Oh, you're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really, what's she doing? Oh, please, just because I'm a woman, don't make my testimony any less valuable. Well, whoever said that? You might just see me as a wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word. I am. I really don't remember if I was suggesting that I doubted you. No excuse. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Wait, is she using the same scarf to tie a bow on her head? Back? Alright. Welcome back, Mrs.
Oh, yes, Mr. Speeds. I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
Oh, that was a very loud mutter. I heard that! That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife word counts for nothing, does he? What? What is she saying? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't.
Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue.
Oh, what could she possibly be about to say? I wonder. Oh, I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us.
I saw it, I did. I saw it, I did. That evening I saw it clearly. That little man with the whiskers and the funny curved back, slinking away from the scene. And I know and I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction. Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. Oh, I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets it as a cross. What's that, Rolly?
Excuse me.
Constable Beat. Is there a problem? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir. Oh, yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening, is all. What? What thing? Huh? You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Oh well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone in a good 15. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. But the reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly. Silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rory's so romantic. He saved up for it. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies. Halfpennies? Oh, halfpennies. Halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Oh, yes. How romantic. Eh? Oh, I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Oh, yes. But that was just between us. I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about it to anyone else, darling. You haven't promised. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. Oh, I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight. Naruhodo-san. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it in your testimony. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Oh, yes, I'd love to. Well, she didn't need much convincing. Oh, what happened was, I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Oh, I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Okay, let's press that up.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime?
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. Oh, it was in a dark spot when the streetlight weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first.
And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on?
Oh, yes. And I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see? That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
Wait, what? Rolly! It's Rolly! Rolly moved the victim. Oh. God damn it, Rolly. What have you done? In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased.
Oh, I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably? Because I don't know if you saw that, but she said that it was their anniversary and they were going out, and the victim was on the ground at the limit of her husband's jurisdiction. And so, if it had been inside his, he would have had to take on the case. And it would have ruined their night. So, what I think happened is Rowley moved the body, well, the woman, because she's not dead, to the other side of the street, so that it would be the other policeman's problem, not his. That damn Rowley! He looks so innocent.
Oh, that's right, silly me. I'd gone over the wrong side of the street. Although, I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there. I really can't.
Rowley. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite, eh? Curious indeed.
Oh, isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me with that change from the gutter. He spent so long collecting.
By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose?
Oh. Oh! Yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary, with all bits of change she found in the gutter.
Maybe just go little rose? Oh, tell us, Lord Van Zees, where did you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Gaida household. In front of the Gaida's house? Although it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the strip lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. The thoroughfare? Wow, those words.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have it back now, please?
No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence.
Oh, The anniversary bouquet has been entered into the court record. A present for Patricia Beat from her husband Rory. The shock of seeing the stabbed victim caused Mrs. B to drop the rose where she stood. Ah! The plot thickens. Oh, Pat, it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Oh, good grief. Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget Mrs. Beat.
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for 1 moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Hold it!
Wait, I have to look at the rose. What? Sorry, the bouquet. Okay, is there anything special about that? It's very stylish paper the flowers wrapped in, isn't it? Oh, it's just another newspaper. Naruhodo-san. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. Oh, that's funny how they with that. Ah, I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrap a stone-baked sweet potato in an English newspaper, oh, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Ah, Susato-san, you do love your cakes. You mean like fish and chips, maybe? Okay, so is there anything special? Oh, an English rose. Such a beautiful flower. Ah, this is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before. Wait, are there no roses in Japan? No, do not take an interest in flowers, Naruto-san. I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Oh gosh, 3. Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Oh, perhaps you should consider branching out, learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example. Wow. An English rose. Okay, that's the same thing. Alright. Okay, I don't think there's anything special about the rose anyway. It's just the location where it was found that is important. Alright, let's get back to the trial. Nothing to report. Oh, that's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. I beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of the Lamb's Pride was originally in the Gaideb household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well? Wait, we already have heard that. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As you can see from the photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this segment that's not sitting right with me. The mysteries of how that knife ended up in her bag, and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Oh well, now Rosa-san, what do you make of all this? Yes. The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The fourth book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Gerda was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. It's Rowley. I think I'm already beyond with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair. Okay. I'm gonna save, because you know what? Why not? Okay, you saw the window of the double floor of the guy's house has inscriptions. Okay, obviously if anything had been thrown out the window we would have seen it. I'd leave the scene to go fetch help, but Mr. Rowley was here to make sure nothing was disturbed. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. I didn't take my eyes off the crime scene for one moment, so nothing strange to report on that front, so... Okay. Okay, so this case has nothing to do. We have the bouquet. It's a window of the top floor of the guide of house was top in casements. If it had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch matches as if Rowley was there to make nothing disturbed. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and I was losing my way for a while. Didn't take my eye off the crime. Let's... What if I press that? And what did it do? I think we put... Oh yeah, that's what we had. What we said right before. Okay, I'm gonna need to present the rose because he has to explain how it moved. Alright, I know. Okay. You didn't take my eye out of the crime scene for one moment. Okay. Present the rose. Release the rose.
Objection!
You claim, Constable Beat, that there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. You gonna go to bed now? Have a good night, missus. But that cannot be. What? What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes. Yes. On the opposite side of Briar Road, where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of what that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter when it belongs.
Meager?
Objection!
But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one also approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore that on Scotland Yard's honor. Ah, but the bouquet belongs to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rory didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly it's not only a bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case mysteriously the wrong way around.
What are you talking about?
Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Gaidev's book. Mr. Gaidev's copy of the Lion Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, wait. Makes me wonder if a crime happens on the middle of the road. Whose jurisdiction is it? Huh? Makes you wonder. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here, at the scene of the crime, on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in front of Mr. and Mrs. Gaidev's house. There's no logical explanation for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them. Oh, what are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rowley's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that Squally Lawyer says? Well, she's back. Wittering on about books and bouquet. Why should we care? It's nitpicking, and that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Gaidev's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Gaidev, but deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called tampering. Oh. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Oh yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? Oh, it's Rowley. Oh, dear Rowley. What have you done?
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person who it could have been.
Constable Rollerbeat, it was you! What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard?
Oh, what nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. Nobody works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. Oh, you're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about the Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
Objection!
If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh. Oh, and forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well,
Objection!
First, you make accusation about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing.
motive. I've got a motive. I've got a motive for you.
You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there is only one reason anyone would commit such a crime: to hide something.
Oh, that's right. He's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would he have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats.
Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the evidence with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Oh, Naruto-san, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with a crime scene was to hide where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs.
What?
Oh, where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Fire Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What?
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, counsel.
If that's your assertion, well, then the court is dying to know, my Nepalese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
On this side of the street.
Take that!
But that's...
On the opposite side of the road?
Oh, I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Gaidev's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Okay, so the woman, she bent down to get the book, and then the knife fell on her back. Oh, god damn it. What a terrible accident.
Oh, good gracious.
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place.
Oh, that's right. I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening, already dark. There was a typical London fog on the ground when you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid. That was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It could have been.
Constable B then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print. The victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of the Briar Road.
Oh, extraordinary.
But the constable overlooked one thing.
What? What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume.
Exactly. Oh, the prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek said it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the strip lamps cast no light.
Oh, yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of our road.
Oh.
And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Wally Beat. Oh, Wally.
Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lie, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
Oh, Patricia is going to be so disappointed.
I had a dream, a terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all.
Oh, good golly. Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving corpses. It's a criminal offense, isn't it?
She's not a corpse, woman. Wishing the victim dead should be one too.
Oh, Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town.
I can't say, sir.
What?
I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything.
I have a possible explanation, sir. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Van Zeeks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far.
What do you have to say to that, eh?
I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory.
I'm an extraordinary long lawyer.
Counsel for the defense, if you please.
Oh, yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence.
At once, my lord. England, Japan. Makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. England, Japan. Makes no difference. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions.
What gives away the motive for Constable B's unthinkable actions?
It's the rose. It's the rose.
Take that!
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan. Which is why all this information about London's so-called bubbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens of his beat, in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young bubby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly.
But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? How?
On account of this bouquet, my lord.
Oh yes, it was our very first wedding anniversary.
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. He was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. Celebratory, yeah.
When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon crime along by a road.
Oh, he finally saw the lights. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them, what must have gone through the man's mind?
But sir, just on that one particular day, sir, was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Oh, Rolly.
This is the wrong card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigation and help detectives.
Oh! Oh!
Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not, the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day?
Oh, yes. Everything you said. It's all right.
So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh.
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
Oh, good gracious. Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done?
Oh. It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Oh, stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran about to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then, dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigation and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight, of all nights? Why? Oh, Rolly. It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so... I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak. It just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So we'll have to go to the police box that covers it, turn right along Meersham Street, and then... Oh, Rolly, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Rolly. Just that one night.
You knew that if the incident was in your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street, to the east pavement of Fire Road, which falls under the neighboring Beast Care.
You see, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
I see what you're meaning now.
But God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Rolly. That was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly.
And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total?
Huh? Oh, 4 it was. Oh yes, definitely 4. Oh, 3 of them dropped my Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett's household, of course.
But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Haphazardly.
Oh well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
Are you sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding?
Oh yes, sir, no doubt about it, sir.
Interesting.
Fourth book information has been updated in the court record. I thought it was an open hand and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the two people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is for me now. I've had it. Oh, the poor roadie.
My lord.
Yes, Lord Van Zieks.
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Wait, what?
Constable, you may withdraw.
Oh, yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. Sir? What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Oh, please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Oh, leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. All right then, my love.
One thing, Constable.
Sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Never again, sir. You mean to say...
Leave now. This trial is not yet over.
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. However, thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that? Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that?
Indeed, my lord, nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Sasaki Natsume, is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Oh, Lord Van Zieks, is this true?
Very well. Name the person if you will. Any further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing.
You would name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime.
I'm sorry, Joan, but, well, you know, it's you.
Take that!
The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again?
My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Gardeb. Me? Oh, dearie me?
Objection!
That request has already been denied.
Objection.
But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garrideb, answer me this.
What do you want to know, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garrideb. In the course of the argument, a manor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over a Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. But striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Oh yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garrideb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back. Have you really never laid eyes on it before? Ah! I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said members of a jury needn't testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection.
Wait, what?
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4.
What? He's something else? Oh!
Make no mistake. You jurors are no special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. You are just insects, just like everybody else. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out.
But, that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? Where's that?
Are you joking? What are you saying, please, Mrs. Garda?
Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought of that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop. Do your worst.
Well,
Naruhodo-san. If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already.
Then take the stand, juror.
Oh.
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman.
Thank you, Lord Van Dix. I'm going to have to testify.
Juror number 4. As I'm sure you would appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today, witness testimony can be led to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware.
Oh, dearie me.
So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Godiva. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, councillors?
Certainly, my lord.
Oh,
Well, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. What an unexpected turn of events. This is just such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Alright, so I think we're gonna stop here because, well, we're gonna have to go to bed, and I think we're gonna close this this case next time, which probably is gonna be tomorrow anyway. Alright, wow, what a turn of events. We finally got some answers, but it's not finished yet. So tomorrow then we'll be able to close the case. All right, I'm very happy about what happened today. Finally, we got to something. All right. Thanks for being here with me tonight. As always, please take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you tomorrow then. Bye.